Hey, everybody. Welcome to Open the Gates. I am your host, Matt Burke, and today we're going to be having on Carl Stefan, creator of Merry Boy. So if you guys can give a warm welcome for Carl.
Hey,
What's up, Carl? How you doing, bro?
yeah, all right. No, I'm in England. I'm always, conscious of how bad the background looks compared to whenever I get hosted somewhere. I'm just sitting in the spare room. I should really put like some posters on the walls. But we recently had somebody staying here, and she's cleared out. And yeah, I just haven't done anything with the space. So yeah, I should stick some things up.
Yeah, I just put, random stuff up on the background. Got like a banner from a con and things. Usually stuff I'm like, just for me, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have the fancy setup and the lighting and all that sexy stuff.
Nothing fancy
But
here at all.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe one day. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, you're over in England right now, huh? You guys, you're saying you had a barbecue?
Yeah, we got a barbecue just before it started raining,
Oh, nice.
which is
What were you guys grilling up?
just some ribs and some
Oh,
burgers and things like that.
good stuff,
Uh,
huh?
yeah. Well, it's, we don't do it often. Like there's hardly any chance in this country to do proper bar because we got about 2 weeks of summer. You see,
Yeah,
so if you blink, it's over, and the rest of the time is just unsuitable for having a barbecue.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's it. Kind of sucks. Like it's cool if like you got like an awning or something that won't catch on fire to cover you up. Because
yeah,
like me personally, I love barbecuing in the rain. It's fucking metal. I don't know. I just like
yeah,
seeing
yeah,
the flame and the meat just cooking up, and I got my beer and I'm bumping my music, but I don't have that setup, so I can't do it. And if I go outside, the mosquitoes eat me up. So I'm out there like spraying apple cider vinegar all over me with a spray bottle. If I drink the beer, they come at me. They attack me, bro. So I can't
Oh, yeah,
even.
tasty. So it depends on the kind of mosquito, I guess. They might like a bit of seasoning on.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit of that. Um, so
Yeah, no, I'm South African, so like we love barbecuing, and back home, people tend to have a really elaborate sort of setup. The barbecue will be inside the house with a
ooh,
big built into the wall,
it's pretty dope.
and just really amazing. And here
Yeah,
there's just isn't that much of a culture like that, so you got to make do with pro forma sort of barbecues that you buy at the B&Q, and it's not the same,
yeah,
but.
it's amazing too. All the different styles and smokers and stuff they got now. Like me, I just use the Weber, the little like 110. Well, it's like $100 over here. I've used the same
Yeah,
one
yeah,
for
yeah,
like at least like 12 years. It's the same one, and I always use
yeah.
it. I haven't even cleaned the resin out of it either, so it still has
Yeah, you're
all
not
that
supposed to.
flavor.
It's
Yeah,
supposed to be covered in fat, and
yeah,
yeah, and every time you reheat it, it's supposed to energize again and just lubricate the inside of it. So that's the
then
caveman
I
way.
just clean it with like an onion, just heat it up, and just wipe it off. Perfect, perfect. Onions are magic. Yeah, man. I went and seen that new Dracula movie on Friday. I don't know if you heard of it, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Um,
No, I thought you meant the Nicolas Cage one.
oh, I
That
saw
I
that one
always,
too. I
I
saw that
always
one
see
too.
that. That looks great.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy too because like I was talking to my buddy Brian Kreisgau, like Dracula and like the Phantom and the Shadow and Batman. Sorry, that they're like these evergreen characters. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can keep coming back and redoing them. Frankenstein. Like you could put out 2 movies a year and it doesn't. Like Universal did both of the movies. They did Last Voyage of the Demeter and they did fucking Renfield. But and they're both good in my opinion. They're just different. I was thinking about starting to do reviews of movies that like I go see.
Yeah.
I don't go to the movies that much. It's got to be like a Dracula or something really like that I like. For me to leave the house to go to the theater. But I was thinking about doing a little review on it. But yeah, I mean it was cool. Both of them were cool,
Is
but
it
they're way different. You know.
is it the reboot of the Universal Dracula? Is that what that is? The
Possibly.
last version.
Well, I
Yeah.
think I think both of them were they were just tests like just throwing it in the water. Let's see what they like. Do they like this like Nicolas Cagean Jason Statham cranked out style of Dracula with action and gore all over the place with a little bit of splat stick like Evil Dead 2, or do they want this like dark gothic horror slow brooding monster movie which would be the last Voyage of the Demeter. So I think that Demeter is probably going to be the one that people like possibly go gravitate towards. But one thing I would say was just kind of a long movie. I think they could have cut a little bit out. And I love long movies, but Yeah, I think a little trimming here and there, it doesn't hurt. You know, it was about 2 hours, but again, it was a slow one, and their pitch was Alien on a boat, and that's kind of
Uh-huh.
what.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, I see the
Yeah,
chest burgers. You got throat fights.
and he's a,
No,
he's
I
a
love
monster.
Dracula.
He's a
Yeah.
monster in there, so that's cool. He's a fucking monster. He ain't
Oh, good,
sexy.
good,
He ain't, he's just
good. So
so.
Anne Rice influences are out the window. No,
Oh yeah,
wafty
total.
count,
Yeah, total
bisexual.
Barlow. Yeah, yeah, man. Well, I do recommend it. I mean, every now and then it's
Yeah.
fun. I like to. There was 3 people in the movie theater. Me and my buddy, we went and seen it. And he's like, "We want to go see this movie? Yeah, go get some Mexican food after." My buddy, I haven't hung out with in forever, so we had a good time. But yeah, man, crazy stuff. So you're I've been following your work, you know, since you came on the scene with, you know, the indies comic scene, Comicsgate. You know, I picked up your books. Love your work. Love your style. You have an original voice and vision that you put out there. I know who you are, but maybe for the viewers that don't know who you are, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm primarily known for doing comics about 4 kids with birth defects who run around town beating people up in the name of God. I think that's the way to sum it up. It's a
Yeah.
black humor, jet black humor in the style of, I would say, almost. See, I keep saying the Goon, but the Goon isn't really like an influence as much. So it's really hard, like, because when people read it, visually, I would say we both Eric Powell and I guess have got the same sort of influences. Like, we love old EC comics and Mad Magazine, so
Yeah.
there's a bit of crossover there. The style, it's gritty. It is like 90s nasty sort of alternative sort of comics.
That's
That's
what I love about it.
it's not PC. It's just fun and a bit crazy. With a bit of a different angle. So the Merry Boys are 4 modern day Knights Templars. They are punks essentially in modern day broken Britain. So they wear Doc Martens. They wear these thick leather gloves. These makeshift tunics that look a bit like football shirts, and they carry these cricket bats because patriotic British instead of baseball bats. And they wreak havoc on anything in their little town that they perceive to be a sin. They look like this.
Hell
And
yeah.
essentially they're born with this weird birth defect where they can't grow any hair on their heads. They've got cleft palates. And this birth defect also affects the way they metabolize alcohol. So when they drink beer, they actually become faster and stronger. Not like, oh, cool. Like because when people drink alcohol, they tend to think they're
Right.
stronger than they are, but they actually do become stronger. And they were taught to fight in formation by this old Catholic priest called Parish, who's a bit of a nutter, who has had a past life regression. And in his past life, he was actually a member of the Order of the Original Knights Templar.
Oh
And
shit.
he's had these visions of Basham, the town they're from, descending into chaos if they don't purge it of its sin. So they're on this holy mission to cleanse their small town. This is Parish riding a pig. He's a bit of a lush, you see, as well as a visionary, a prophet in his own time. So yeah, that in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. I've done some other comic books, but this is my baby, and this is the project that I'll probably be working on for the next while before everything is done. So that's me.
Yeah, man. Like when I picked it up, I was just like, it was so nice to see something refreshing at the time that it came out. This big black and white book, magazine size, little taste of Britannica, I guess you would call it, and the small town Britain, with these 4 punk kids. And I love the origin, the way that you thought of my wife loved it too. The origin.
It's always really important.
Yeah.
If the ladies love it,
Yeah.
it's weird who do. I mean, I've got some friends who've got some very left wing kids, daughters, and they absolutely adore the comics. It's kind of weird.
Oh yeah.
That works. But yeah, it's You know, because it tramples all over politically correct notions. It just does not care at all. You know, so any sort of outrage to be had will be had reading these books.
That's why I love it, and it calls back for me. It kind of reminds me of like a lot of stuff that I love, like a lot of the Lobo books, you know, where he was poking fun at political satire, RoboCop, like the Paul Verhoeven films. I love that, and the just like the black and white art. You don't really see people doing that much. And also a little bit of TMNT, man. You know, a little bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the base. That's the base where it started from. And how it happened. Basically, I had one graphic novel, which is almost like a So before I did Merry Boys, I did a book called Sparko, and it was published by a company called Slave Labor Graphics. They did publish Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, Evan Dawkins stuff, and whatever. This was a while back, and I did that. And there was a page I had to fill up. Now that book had one of the Templars in it, but as a grown-up. And they asked, well, we need one more page, you know, for the printers, you know, for it to make up the printing sequence. I think what's it called? Anyway, so I thought, okay, well, I'll just do another drawing like a pin-up, and I thought, how cool would it be if I took him. And imagine he had four brothers like TNMT, like even the logo and everything was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I just planted down there with standing there with bats and, you know, chains and, you know, and covered in blood, you know. And after the thing was published, like it just stayed in the back of my mind. I was like, hey, this is actually, that was cooler than that whole stupid book I did. You know?
Isn't that weird? You're just like, oh, I got to add this thing in here. I got to do this little thing right here. And then this whole world just opens up, you know?
Pretty much, yeah. You know, and it just cool. Kind of, links like you're in England, want to do something that is actually English, because even in even British comics, they kind of have a massive aversion to doing things that is you know, unapologetically English. Yeah, it's very rare. I mean, the biggest characters are Judge Dredd is American,
right? Yeah,
Australian. Mostly, they don't like doing that, and I find this kind of strange. And see, I'm a foreigner. I'm not English. You know, I immigrated to this country, and sometimes I think it takes a foreigner to really appreciate the culture and kind of, you know, because you see it from the outside and you see it in a slightly different sort of way than somebody who's been here the whole time. You know, maybe the you know, people who do comics say they want something a bit more exotic than what they're used to, and then they reach out, say, let's do something that's American or Japanese or whatever. But I'm different. I'm, you know, literally reaching out whilst being here, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, like with you being from South Africa, you probably pick up on all the micro nuances of every little thing of like that culture. And then what Merry Boys is, it really singles in on like the street level culture of like, you know, some of the towns in there. I love that. I love how you're covering soccer, and you know, they have a Comic-Con, and then they have like this Walmart that kind of comes in, but it's not a Walmart. It's like, and just kind of this destroys the small town industry, you know.
Yeah. And that has happened, and people here have rioted over stuff like that. Big chain stores coming in, destroying small businesses, and it's happened in the town I live in, actually. You know,
everywhere.
It's just everything that I've got, I've taken from something that's actually that's actually here. I've tried to make it as trenchant as I possibly can. Sorry, I haven't said hello to the chat. Who's there? Oh, okay, my wife's here.
Yeah, let's see.
Hey, Pops is here. Shadowhawk Talk. I don't think I've met
Shadowhawk.
Joe Ball.
Yeah.
And my wife. My wife.
Stopping by.
Hey, Pops. Yeah. Now I should mention we are a team. I make the comics. My wife helps ship them out. But
that's awesome, man. Do you ever ask your wife for help? Like, does she ever read books like when you're working on stuff, or do you ever like spitball ideas off of her and stuff like that? Yeah, I do the same thing with my wife.
My wife is ruthless, absolutely ruthless. You want an honest opinion, a really honest opinion? Ask my wife for one. She does not care about your feelings. She will tell you exactly how she sees it, and that's almost invaluable in doing comics. You know, it's not
it's not helping you any. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
here to. I mean, if you want to succeed, you gotta be real. You know what I mean? And my lady, she doesn't really read comics, you know, but I like that as a good thing too, and her perspective because she could. I don't understand. Is this page readable? Do you understand what's going on? And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah,
ask her,
yeah,
I'm like,
very important.
there's no
And
dialogue in here. What is
Marvel,
going on? And I don't tell her. I'm like, tell me what it is, please, please. I'm thinking in my head, please figure it out without me having to tell you, you know,
yeah,
because that
yeah,
way I know that
very,
once I
very
had the
important.
dialogue, it's gonna be decent, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like Marvel did like a guide a while back how to read Marvel comics. And I'm like, why the hell would you need a guide to do something that everybody knows should know how to do from the outset? Others you failed massively. That's a big mug. That's excellent. I
no,
should
Mary
have
Boys.
that. See
Yeah,
Wilcox
man.
out. Hello.
Hell,
Excellent.
thanks for
Yeah.
stopping
No,
by.
no, no. Yeah, no, it's very important. I got my wife into comics. It's like, introducing her to a bad habit of mine. And she likes a lot of stuff. She reads a lot of stuff now. Her tastes are a bit different to mine actually, but it's all good. But yeah, you need that feedback. You absolutely need it. You need somebody to also just check your language usage apart from
Yeah.
the pacing. Everything. It's
Oh yeah.
incredibly important.
I can kind of have a few trusted people that aren't going to kiss your ass. That could
Yeah.
look at stuff. I'm trying to build like a couple of people. They're down to do that.
Yeah.
Because you can't have your buddies or your family really do it unless they're hardcore. I gotta ask you though, man. What's your favorite metal band?
Oh, okay. There's so many. I'm into. Okay, it's almost like I've got my traditional favorite metal bands, and then I've got the black metal stuff that I really like. So it's traditional Black Sabbath. Absolutely adore that. Ozzy Osbourne solo stuff.
Nice.
Like the Sepultura, Metallica, all that stuff. But then it goes to Burzum, Mayhem, Dark
Yeah.
Throne. There's a bit of a gap there. But also like a lot of like offshoot Doom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Electric Wizard, Conan, I love that stuff. Then I like stuff that's influenced a lot of, like hardcore punk, like GBH is. I've been listening to a lot of that recently. Discharge.
Discharge.
Yeah.
You ever heard of a band called Dysphere?
Is it one of those? Discharge have got like 100 little like bands with that
Might be a little
have
bit.
got slight variations on their names. Is it one of those where they like
A little bit. Have you heard At the Gates before?
At the Gates? Yeah.
It's that singer, the singer of At the Gates. It's his punk band, but that he's got one of those voices that are unique to where he could take it into any aggressive music genre and it'll just fit, But it just sounds like him. Like, I don't know, it's pretty cool.
That's important.
Yeah, it's like with your art, people can see your art, like I think you gotta have like your own style, I guess, and some people kind of have like a little bit, I don't know, like kind of like have similar styles to people that they like, and sometimes it's hard to find like a real style of your own, I guess is what I'd say. Which you do have your own style, like I could spot your work, which
that's
is really
something
awesome.
I do worry about because like I'm I've got like my core, as I'm sure you do, like you've got your core sort of artists that you like, but you keep adding little bits from other people and things that you like over time it just changes into whatever. I also believe that you don't necessarily have to be the best at what it is. It's just got to look like what just recognizable as your stuff,
right,
as you say.
100%, man. As far as like the like your artistic influences, who are some of those, like your favorite artists? It doesn't have to be comics, but that'd be cool. Maybe if you want to share some with us.
A lot of the old 2000, it's okay. EC comics. I would say Jack Davis is a big influence. I absolutely love his stuff. Mort Drucker, Wally Wood. Wally Wood's his Mad Magazine stuff. I prefer those where it's a bit more.
That's what I read, man. I grew up more on Mad Magazine and Crack than I did on comics. I mean, I always picked up the comics and I loved them, but I was buying mostly that in the very beginning.
Yeah,
I just love the humor in it and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, but even like with Mad, you tend to grow out of the humor after a while, but the art stays
so good.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, Mort Drucker, he's my favorite.
Oh yeah, just off the wall.
The little wrinkles he would do with his brush, like just the little things, the backgrounds. I don't know, man. It's really awesome.
but there's an excellent video. It's not widely available. It was done on Vimeo in collaboration with Mordraka's family, where they do like an interview. Half of it is just about his life. The other half is his process. And I got it just for the process part, like just for what do you do, like figuring out what nibs he uses, and styles of inks and stuff like that. Hey, Justin,
Hey,
how you doing?
how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. But that
yeah,
little stuff, little things like that, like it might, I don't know, just picking the brain of like some of your favorites. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're gonna draw just like them or something. Or maybe they got a nib that that you will use, and it might change your style or do something or make you turn a quarter in your art. Because I think some people, if they keep at art, sometimes they hit these like milestones in these corners where they just fucking level up, and it's just one little tweak that, like, that little bone that people have right there or something, and it leads to another thought and leads to another thought, and then it's all of a sudden your art's leveled up, like and then you're on to something else after that. But that's fascinating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm trying to think. Will Eisner is a big one, definitely.
Yeah.
As from storytelling as well as from the art, he's just a master. Can't beat him. There's a lot of 2000 AD artists that have been quite influential. Mick McMahon, definitely. Jamie Hewlett. Just the loads of them.
It's hard to think of all of them, huh?
Yeah, Geordie Burnett is another one that I just love that loose inking style. He's an absolute living genius. He's probably my favorite living cartoonist at this point. He did Torpedo and a whole bunch of other. He did I think he's currently working on Jonah Hex. And he has been for quite a while. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But his European comics just mind-blowingly good. Very dark stuff. Very. That's a weird thing. I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but the Torpedo series. It's about a New York gangster. He's an assassin.
Oh, okay.
He's a killer for hire, and it is probably some of the darkest comics I've ever read. It's really. These guys basically, I think he's Spanish, and he came out and they started publishing these comics directly after the fall of fascism in that country. It was almost like they were acting out their freedom and just doing the most
built up, right?
As
in the discharge of art and
it was literally just, we can do this now.
To be spoken.
Yeah, so we're gonna do it. It's just like every single taboo. If he had to come along today. He's lauded now because it's classic stuff. You'll find this on and art sites and stuff, really like talking about the finer points of sequential art. The same people who would crap all over Comicsgate for not being politically correct, but that I find this duality really, really strange. Where art is free for certain people to express themselves, but it's not for other people that the critics don't like the personalities of. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, and some people are allowed to change the art and malform it and misshape it. And some previous arts, they're allowed to go back and taint that art, and it's okay for them to do that. It's a crazy world we're living in, brother. Well, that's cool. Like, we need people that are doing their own books, speaking their mind and kind of showing how it is, like through an artistic vision. That's the way that we could do it. I think through art it's
art.
People how it is.
That's the thing. I think that's what a lot of people forget in the comics business, is that it is. I know it sounds pretentious. It's pulp art, but it is art. You don't walk into a gallery. You don't walk into a Francis Bacon exhibition and say, "Oh, that's bloody." Don't you want to tone down the reds a little bit, make it a few less bones and guts of it? No, you don't do that because there's a certain sphere where art is allowed to be art and people express themselves. It's like MMA,
right?
People like watching violence to a certain degree, but it's contained in a little box that you put aside to enjoy that. Same thing with certain forms of expression. Art, same sort of thing. You should be able to do that.
You can put a Caravaggio, and that's fine. Some of his stuff is pretty out there,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Cutting the heads. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he was a killer later on, but that's beside the point. I mean, allegedly.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. something like that.
I think Francis Bacon killed somebody too, actually.
It's crazy, man.
By
It's
mistake. Long
crazy,
story.
crazy times. I was also wondering, like, who are some of your because you also write your own stuff. Who are some of your maybe literary or some of the writers you like, maybe inspired you?
Oh, I like. Have you ever heard of the Don Camillo books?
No.
By Gresci. He's an Italian writer. He wrote. It was during he was a writer during World War II and post World War II when Italy was basically up for grabs between the communists and the fascists. There was a struggle between the communists and the church, and he kind of writes stories about a little town where there's this constant clash between the Catholics and the communists.
Oh man,
it's hilarious. It's just such beautiful, examples of humanity. A bit of my characters. I'll take some inspiration from that. I would say that's a pretty big one. There's some Afrikaans stories that I like that have been influential. Yeah, can't think of that much. I don't really read that much.
No, I didn't either. It's like now I'm going back and reading shit because as a kid I read Mad Magazine and like you'd be lucky if I read any comic. I was just looking at all the art. That's all I did, and I was studying it from like 3 years old, trying to draw. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going back. I'm reading fucking Robert E. Howard and all this other stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, yeah, I'm going back and reading more now. But another thing is, I have a short attention span for reading. Like, sometimes I'll even fall asleep. So, and like, I just got to keep moving, But yeah, I'm trying to go back and read more, but I'm kind of busy too, so it's hard. It takes a lot out of me to read.
I kind of when I do read, when I had time to read, it was more like trying to read the classics. I mean, it's like watching them.
Yeah,
I'm the same with movies now. Like if I know that I kind of have this long list of cult movies that I'm working through, because there's nothing worse than going to the theater, wasting your time, wasting your money, and then it's a massive disappointment.
It's like your time and your money, and like loss of maybe comics you could have made something, or could have been barbecuing, or you could have been doing something else. It's like, damn,
you don't want to leave the theater angry, So I kind of try and get stuff that I think won't do that. So I tend to focus on older stuff. I've read all the classics. I really enjoyed those. I'm reading all the Roald Dahl books with my son now.
Oh, that's cool. I like the BFG. I mean, I remember that one. I like that one a lot. I kind of like the movie too, but I like the book a lot more.
My favorite is the ones the Twits. It's quite cool.
And the Witches was pretty awesome. The remake was dog shit. Remake was dog shit, but that first one,
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks for telling me. I'll avoid that.
Angelica Houston kills it in there, dude. She's so gross. And a lot of the witches, they cast male actors and then put the bald caps on them and the teeth, and like, it's pretty good. Plenty of good stuff to read now, especially as Hollywood is on strike. Something I hope lasts a long time. No, he's right, and like, there's a lot of stuff I don't want him to touch, like Conan and Solomon Kane, like we do this horror movie club show with Brian Kreisgau, and we go back and watch movies that are not behind a paywall, and a lot of the movies, I'm like, dude, you pick I'm like more pop culture, like Freddy, Jason, slasher shit, Shining and whatever, Evil Dead, and he's like, no, you got to check out the Italian stuff, the Asian stuff, so I'm going back and watching that, some of the classics. And I'm loving it. I'm really digging in, so same thing with the literary stuff. That's cool too. But yeah, now's a good time, man. Now's a good time to go back and read the stuff, watch the stuff, and a lot of fun to be had, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I was also wondering, man, as far as like your process from which you go from idea to script to thumbnail to page. Do you mind talking about that? And maybe if you want to walk us through some of that.
Yeah, so I'm quite analog with this stuff. So I'll have like a really basic idea that I'll put in a Word document. It'll just be like a bullet points. When I come up with an idea, it just like arrives in the form of scenes that I want.
Yeah, me too.
A patchwork of scenes, and I was like, it's almost like being given. It's like one of those pictures that you have to join the dots, and then eventually you'll have a whole so I'll be given a bunch of dots, and I'll say, I've got to make this happen somehow. You know your characters, you have to follow them. You know, you have to basically create a plot that's going to bring the best out of your characters. And you've got
Right.
certain scenes that you know will develop those characters, and these are the places you want them to arrive. So once you figure that out, and you do like a very sort of high level script, it's not even really a script. Put that in, and then I will do, for each say 20 pages, I will just start doing little thumbnails, and then the dialogue starts to come out, and then at the same time I will write the dialogue into the, because it's almost like it's simpatico, this process, pictures and words, and they kind of translate between, it's one stimulates the other. And once I've got my panels, like those little thumbnails together, then I can start thinking about how do I want to paste this, and then I will start doing like a mock page, and I will break that down into the number of panels, what I want to show, when, how, and then I will have a rough idea of how long the story is going to be. So I'll have this. Well, this is almost unintelligible to somebody who doesn't, who don't know exactly what's going on in my mind. But
that's awesome.
This perspective wouldn't be necessarily what I'll be using, but it will just be enough information to know what happens in that panel. I could have a completely different angle on it, or choose a different scene. But the point is that each shot will convey this information. And that's basically my process. I'm about 50 pages in to the next one, like in this part of the process so far. So yeah, it's going all right so far.
That's awesome, man. That's a cool thing. A cool way to do it. And then that's part of the fun too, where some of the dialogue and whatnot might come later. I always like to ask people to come on, like, what's their process, so I can get some inspiration. We got.
How do you do it? I call mine the Marvel method for one. So I don't have a Stan Lee, or I don't have a Jack Kirby either. Hi, Sim.
Oh boy, Sim right there. For me, like, again, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm
same here, actually.
What I do is I come up with an idea, and then I type up a script, or a story, and then I'll throw in a script too, and then I'll have like a breakdown of what I want and the pages. But that shit it's just a compass, and I'll throw it out the window, but I have it there and I know where I'm going. So this will happen on page 38, but it might take page 38, 39, 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of loose, and then, I'm going to add a whole page to this right here. Like in one of the stories, I added a page where I got my character, he's breaking his brother out of Helheim. And in the script, Hell just snaps her fingers and he comes out. And I'm like, no, I want to show him in the cell, like sitting there, like with his head down, all cuffed up, And
visually, there's a visual demand that you need to fulfill. As well. Yeah, I totally get that.
So I just have that, and then I get a little $1 clipboard, and I have like printer paper, and then I just draw like what you're drawing, but with stick figures. And right now I'm drawing them like trying to escape in a van. They're driving through hell, like in cold hell, and she's snapping her fingers, and the gates are closing. They're driving a tour van through, trying to get out, and just little thumbnails. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at it. Sometimes I need to do 3 pages at a time just to see how it kind of goes into the next one. But I'm basically doing 1 page at a time like that, just for fun, because I'm laying out the thumbnails like every page at a time, unless I get into a spot in the story where it needs 3 pages need to be laid out or something like that, where it's like the sequential art isn't it's getting kind of bunched up and needs to be kind of thought out more, and to see if it's flowing and not, you know what I mean? And then I'm looking at it like, damn, these are all like some basic ass panel like perspectives. Everyone's like flat, like looking like you're looking straight at. I need to get some down perspectives. I need to get some up perspectives. I need to switch up the perspectives, because I don't know. I try to make every shot have a different perspective and things like that, so it keeps stimulating. But sometimes I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna keep it the same. It just kind of really depends on what I want, I guess. But that's what I do. I can't wait to work with the writer someday. I want to see how they do it. Just for fun.
That's a bit of a mystery. Yes, writers are different. I mean, everybody's like I know that guys like Alan Moore will.
Oh yeah.
I think Alan Moore used to draw himself, so he will physically maybe give you thumbnails. Harvey Kurtzman of Mad Magazine, literally, he would give you roughly drawn comics. He would have that level of control, and the artist would literally just have to render it a bit better on top of it. That's it. There was no real room for collaboration.
Oh yeah, they have it laid out. Yeah, it's not really. Oh, I was also gonna say what I do too is, again, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I have a lot of the dialogue already written because I see it in my head and what they're saying, and there's certain things I want to be said, and I have that in the script along with the story. So that's, and then I print all that out and I staple it 3 times and I have it with me, the actual loose script, I guess, the amorphous script that's willing. It's unchained. It's just a compass basically, But we're gonna go on some rides and we're gonna get there, and I have the ending done too, always. So I know I'm gonna get to that ending.
Yeah. I think it was Stephen King he's a pantser. You got your your meticulous step by step sort of planned out writers, and then you get the ones who just go by the seat of their pants and just write and just see where it ends up. I think the latter is like really good if you're extremely sort of well versed in it, which I'm definitely not. So almost like a hybrid approach is what you need. Like you've got your touch points, you need to get to these 3 or 4 different touch points. So you'll have your first act, second and third, and then the second act will have a midpoint. You've got your sort of breakdowns, but the in between you pants it so that it keeps that vitality. It keeps it
fresh, and that energy is in there, that kinetic energy. And also now what I'm doing is too, like if I have a villain, he's a fucking villain, like he's bad. Like there's no like I'm trying to make it not to have any like social redeeming value, or there's not going to be too much to connect with, maybe a little tiny bit, but I want the villains to be really vile. That way my heroes are, I mean, maybe not in the book I'm in now, but maybe in the next one. I really want to strive for that. And then I'm also asking myself, am I feeling anything from this? Like emotionally, am I attached to it? Like, I'm not saying there needs to be a lesson, but like, is it going to make me like really mad at the end, or is it going to make me want to cry or something like that? Like, am I emotionally attached to the story in one way? Doesn't mean that I'm having to teach somebody a lesson or anything like that, or like, or I'm not saying there needs to be something that said about it, but am I emotionally attached to it? Is it evoking some form of personal emotion for me in the story?
Because it will have the same effect on your reader. I mean, superheroes. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing it. Okay, I don't know if this is actually a superhero thing I'm doing, but it's a power fantasy.
Yeah, definitely, anyway, for sure. Mine is. All of them are.
I mean, have you ever, like, one thing I don't know if other people do this too, but what I find that really helps me fall asleep is there's this one specific power fantasy that I have. I'm invisible and I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It gets incredible. It gets quite, and it's like that. Then you're doing it for your own sake. You go to places that are interesting for you as a person. I'm probably not explaining this properly, but it must have that engagement. You must surprise yourself in order to surprise the reader, I guess.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
Push the envelope a bit.
Yeah, it's addicting, man. And I gotta keep working on my stuff. I have this creative demon. If I don't silence it, it'll go mad. I can't put a lid on it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I actually have your store up right now. I was wondering if you like, I could share it. We could maybe go over your store a little bit. Is that cool?
That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, we had a Fund My Comic campaign that's closed it was about a week ago now, and now we're just back on eBay, a dedicated eBay store.
This is awesome. So kind of like Ethan has this too. Ethan Van Sciver. We can go in there and buy some stuff. I was thinking about doing this too.
Yeah, it was good enough for Ethan. I guess it's good enough for us.
Hell yeah.
Calculates the postage for you, and it's got the eBay protection, buyer protection.
Yeah, they have that.
In a way, it's actually better than crowdfunding. Yeah, I found. Yeah,
security, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah. So let's see. So that's the top one is the most recent comic, the Beefheads collection, with 4 self-contained stories.
That's awesome. I loved it. It was kind of like getting a creepy dude, or like one of the obviously, I mean, it's obvious, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's like getting like a like an EC comic, or like a magazine, where you have, or an anthology even, where you're getting a bunch of cool little episodes. Loved it.
Thank you. No, that's excellent. That's kind of what I was going for. Like it's just snippets out of their world.
Yeah,
Just to familiarize people
day
with.
in the life, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, these are the two. See, it is a punk. It's almost like an old school punk concept flavor. This comic. So I want to do things that just fall into that sort of mindset, and I really wanted to have embroidered patches,
Oh
even if it's
yeah,
just. And
yeah, dude.
those were from both campaigns. We've still got a few left from the first one, and quite a few left from the second one. So
You hear that? You guys get in there and get those. I know that one day I'm gonna make either a Levi biker vest or a leather biker vest. You know, I'm gonna get all my. Probably gonna have a couple of them, dude. Bands, and then another one with all my crowdfunded books.
yeah.
A bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the same, like a battle vest.
Oh,
I've got
totally.
a crap load of patches
Me
that
too.
I need to get my wife to sew on. That's the only
That's
thing
it
that
right
needs to
there.
happen.
You get both of them right there. It's a great deal.
Yeah, it's a discount if you get both of them. And that underneath that is the first two comics, which is one story. It's almost like, if you think of it in terms of a TV series, that would be the pilot.
Yeah.
Like the story I'm working on now has got a lot of touch points on that starts in that first story.
Let's see. Yeah, you guys got to see the art, man. It's just awesome art. I love the way you do the ink wash, and man, this really cool how you do that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Love
just just keeping developing. Really, I don't think I'll be doing ink wash that much anymore, but it was good doing it for that one. Just to keep things fresh and different and changing.
Switching it up.
And that's the cathedral variant cover for the latest campaign.
That's
And
the metal cover.
Yeah, we've got this ancient church close to where we are.
Really?
That is it's been a parish church for 900 years.
Oh wow.
And it's an original Gothic church. It is
That's
the
awesome.
most beautiful church I've ever seen. And that is pretty much, yeah, it doesn't look like that, but it's just I had to do. I love Gothic architecture.
Yeah, me too, man. Love that stuff. You got the Mary Boy shirt. I got this one from you guys. Had to get it, man. I love it. It's a badass shirt.
So
I like it too because it's got that big, like, in your face logo right on the front, and then one of the boys, and then on the back you got the Proper Comics logo. Like, it's cool when shirts they do like a multiple front and back. I like that.
Yeah, we got a good deal. And what I really wanted to do when I was doing T-shirts is that it's traditionally printed. It's a 2-screen process, so it's like the punk T-shirts you bought.
Oh yeah.
Back in the 80s, sort of thing. So they're durable as hell. And
yeah. Well, they fit nice and snug too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, no, I was happy with how all that turned out.
That's cool, man.
But yeah,
I have a link to it. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was just saying, yeah, it's a little thing. Hey, Brian's here too. Hey, how you doing? Thanks, Brian. You're really nice. Saying all these wonderful things.
What up, Brian? Yeah, see, Brian knows what's
I've got
up.
to check with Brian. I've never spoken to Brian on a show before. I should probably do that. I should get back onto YouTube and start
Come
getting
on
our
the
channel.
Horror Movie Club with this dude. Me and him do a show on Thursdays. We're probably taking a break for a little bit coming up, but we're gonna be getting back on it. We've been doing it for over a year straight for the most part. But we pick like a movie that's not behind a paywall and a horror movie, and we talk about it, and we have guests on sometimes. But that'd be dope if you come on.
All right. It's just about the timing because of the time difference is not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's the big problem with the streaming. I'd stream a lot more and do all that. It's just I know that like 70%, I think it's 70% of our audience is in the States. So, to make it worthwhile, you have to kind of stream, when everybody's awake. Like Michael Bancroft is a different time zone, and he's got it figured out. But
and it's East Coast too. Like that 70% is probably like 70% of that 70% is probably on the East Coast. So for me, I set up all my streams with the East Coast Standard Time, even though I'm Pacific. I did that because I fucked up so many, like I missed so many streams and was like late to things, you know. So I like, all right, you're this time, because it just seems like that's where most of the audience is. That and then like Pacific mostly. A lot of people, at least where I live, they're not. I don't know. They're just not into the stuff we're in, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the mountain.
Yeah,
And have
right.
us at Hell CG UK lately. You have now. Excellent.
Hell.
Hell, brother.
Yeah,
Peeps
there's a lot of
and
good stuff coming out.
Yeah, we've been quiet on the CG UK front lately. I think it's because we're all just we've just been immensely busy. That's why I personally have been really busy with just real life stuff and just. Can we pick it with Michael Berryman? Yeah. He's got he's got that weird condition. The Merry Boys suffer from something that's similar to what Michael Berryman suffers to. It's ectodermal dysplasia. There we go. That's why they look like that.
I also have you guys have another book coming out too, right? Which would be the third offering from you, all stitched up.
Yeah. There's a mailing list for that right now.
I have it right now. I can share it if you'd like. People can take a look at it. Oh no, it's all good, brother. I got it right.
Yeah, that's the one I'm busy on. So it's going to be it's a long form story. It's going to be over 100 pages. It just delves in a lot more into it's got less Father Parish, far more about the boys. It's a lot of action and stuff as you normally expect, but there's also got a lot of drama in it. So it's a bit more of a challenge.
No, that's cool, man.
It's the best thing I've done. It's definitely the best thing I've done so far. I'm quite proud of what I've done so far with it. So
I can't wait, man. I think it's probably gonna be your best one, right?
I hope so.
I'm sure it will be. Like, but I love everything you've put out, man. They're all your best one.
Thanks.
Oh, for sure.
Appreciate that. It's I'm probably gonna release this one in parts.
Oh really? Okay.
It's just going to be too long to do it all in one go. So I'll do it in different parts. But I'm not gonna do the campaign until one part is finished. So I don't want to, there's just been so much BS on crowdfunding lately.
It's hard, dude. I'm not even gonna like release the book till it's done. Now it's got to be about 95% done. Like I might say, fuck it, I'll get it up to the lettering point. And the thing is, I'm not gonna color my fucking books anymore. I'm gonna do everything black and white now.
I tell you, like I was thinking briefly about doing the next thing in color.
Yeah.
And then I just realized how much, like I gave a go at just coloring one of the pages, and it just added so much to the process. And to be honest, if a page works in black and white, that's good enough. I mean, my favorite comics are black. I think the majority of my comic book collection is black and white, to be honest with you.
And I'd say that like in our scene, I mean, fucking indie comics, you're like fucking, if not the best black and white guy, dude, like out there, you know.
No, I don't think I'm the best.
You don't got to worry about it, the color stuff. I mean, your colors are gorgeous, but you got. I mean, yeah, dude. And you're switching up the style too. You said I noticed you switched up a little bit on the second on Beefheads a little bit.
More in line art. Yeah. So I was thinking of tone and line art more than before.
Oh, that's cool.
But
tone, yeah.
But just keep moving forward, because it depends on production too. Because the second book, it's got the color, the pages are matte, because I've heard people say that I don't like the glossy pages, and I find stark black and white just works so much better for that, because it kind of absorbs. It absorbs that. It just softens that stark black line. But if you do ink washes on that, then it starts getting muddy, and it's better to have glossy pages for that. So it's all.
Oh, that makes sense.
I want to keep doing uncoated pages, and I think just go to line art and tone, maybe half tone for the next one. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll do whatever works, I think.
Oh, for sure, man. It looks awesome. Like I love the stuff that you're doing, and I'll tell you, man, that whole like manga audience, a lot of the kids, they don't have no trouble with black and white either, you know.
That's no, it's just I mean, I love properly colored comics. It's just,
Me too.
I'm so aware of how badly it can go wrong if I don't, and I don't have, and I don't. It's like I just know that if I mess up the palette, it's just going to ruin the whole book. You know, that's what I'm worried about. I've kind of got an idea of what sort of palette I would use, but it's going to add so much to the production time, and this is going to be a long haul, and I don't want
Yeah.
to lose momentum on it. That's all. It's only me, so
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, it's gonna be fucking awesome, dude. I think it's gonna blow up, and it's probably gonna be like 3 books or something like that, right? You're like kind of banging them all out. Like, is that what you're saying?
Either 2 or 3,
2
no
or 3?
more than that. Yeah, so maybe 2, maybe 2,
Yeah.
maybe 3, but probably 2. So
Brian says I'm a black and white stan, but it depends on the book and the genre. Superhero comics, for instance, should always be in color.
yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. I agree with that assessment.
I agree too, unless it's like you're doing like a noir type story, or you have a really, really, really dark, fucking evil, disgusting Superman type character, then you might be able to get away with the dingy blacks, which I hopefully will do.
Batman would work consistently well in white. That's because that's new. That's the best Batman type. Well, there have been various styles of Batman, but my favorite is noir. I mean, definitely. Yeah,
and I'm trying too. I'm looking at different black and white, like just more work. I looked at a lot of your work for inspiration. Just different people, like a lot of the magazines. Bernie Wrightson's, he's one of my favorites. And
yeah.
Old Frazetta stuff, like that's just what I'm like digging into. Was Will Eisner. So I really love the old Buscema Conan, and the new Robert De La Torre that's doing the Conan books. I haven't got them yet, also fucking Eric Powell. That was the one comic I always collected, even when I got out of comics, because I thought they weren't as cool anymore or whatnot. I always collected the Goon though. I always have that shit, and but he uses a lot of pencil too, a lot of color pencil.
He varies it up a lot, but I love his covers. To me, are just that's what I like Eric Powell for. His cover designs are just.
He's a cool guy. I met him in life. I mean, in real life, he's pretty cool. He gets pretty. Some of his politics I don't agree with. But
he's changed over time. Yeah, I mean,
he's still an inspiration on me, and I love the Goon. But yeah. It's about the artist, the art, right?
It's almost like the Goon could exist in the same world as the Spirit. It's almost like the Goon. Yeah, it's like the same. It's the same universe, and I love the Spirit.
Totally, man.
The art style, the timing, the weird off the wall characters. It's almost like the Goon has always been in there somewhere in the background, but he's never run into the Spirit. Thankfully. For the Spirit, and
he ran into a Deathclock Metalocalypse. That's funny, huh?
Oh, right, when I did that thing with Brendan Small, I know what you mean. I love Deathclock, by the way.
Me too. I'm actually watching the very last episode where they're it's an opera. I guess it's 40 minutes. It's a rock opera.
Okay,
so I never got around to it, so I'm checking that out right now.
All right, we've got the 4 seasons. I don't think we've got that very last one.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max, or it's called Max now, I guess. But yeah, I'm watching that. It's pretty cool.
I think Monica's listening. Monica, write that down. We need to get that.
Yeah, right.
My wife is a bigger metalhead than I am. So yeah, she's absolutely gaga for Deathclock. She's into her death metal.
Yeah, and they got the new movie coming out too, I guess. That was announced, so I'm really excited about that. I love that show, man. I just that's actually a big influence on the comic I'm doing, Hell War, too. So just the metal concept, it's just fun, and that's turning into its own little comic books with metal is its own little fucking subgenre now, where the cape is a guitar axe. I was wondering, man, you ever think about making a Mary Boy's Ale, like a beer, you guys? Maybe down the line?
That would be good. Yeah, just
like
getting
tall
into
cans.
The thing is that they've got the beer that they drink, the TYSK, the Tisk. It's actually it's like a parody of an actual beer that like a cheap Polish lager that's drunk quite widely here. So they kind of already have like their own beer. But it would be funny if I could actually go to that brewer and just say, hey, how about how about some cross promotion or something like that? That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, just like the cans would be kind of cool. You know, I love Polish beer too. That's like one of my favorite. Like, I don't know, man. They just put out at least the beer I'm getting now from my beer store, dude.
All right,
Like,
I go to Poland quite regularly, so you know we
one of them's
drink a lot
called
of.
Caper, I think. Capper. It's got like a pirate ship on it. It's all black. Caper or Capper. It's spelled Kaper. Fucking bomb.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a lot of these like Ukrainian beers I drink. I'm like the only one buying them there, and they're it's called like Andravarsky or something like that. It's like an amber ale.
Okay.
But it's delicious. That's like one of my favorites.
Oh, there's a massive range. There's a massive range of them. I like a lot of the Fortuna brewery ones, like Czarne Fortuna. What was I supposed to write down? There's a new, maybe there's a new Death. There's a Death Clock movie coming out, and there's a last episode that's apparently really good.
It's an opera. It's 40 minutes long.
Yeah. Monica, do you know Kipper?
I've heard of Kipper. I've heard of Kipper, but the one I'm talking about is Caper. It's spelled Kaper. But that, and then because whenever I go to the beer store, I usually get 3 different new beers just because they got like a lot of them there, right? And there's huge range. There's so many, and there's no rating system globally for beer. So I could buy a beer that was brewed in Norway, a beer that was brewed in Poland, and a beer that was born in the UK or brewed in the UK, all different times. There's no rating system or date system. So without me getting sick or hungover, I just get 3. That way I can bounce. I can bounce back from that, you know, with like some bread and you know whatever I'm eating for din or whatnot. But yeah, man, I always thought like, damn, that'd be kind of cool to see a Mary Boy's can beer, you know, like that's, yeah, or maybe in a mug or some shit. Like that's totally, yeah, pretty awesome. That would be cool. And also, I don't know if you guys did the cosplay, but like the tunic, the Templar tunic.
Oh yeah. I was thinking of just kidnapping some disabled children, shaving their heads and dressing them funny, and
put them in there,
forcing them to attend the con. Oh.
What's your favorite beer, man? You got a favorite beer or drink?
I would say, what was I drinking recently? I kind of like the Brewdog Amber Ale, the 5 a.m. Saint. That's quite nice. I try and avoid these heavily hopped beers because they put me to sleep.
Yeah, they make me sick, dude. Like the rice beers and the IPAs, they're like, I think I'm developing an allergen to them. So I'm like, it just gets me like allergies kind of for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's after all the years of doing it, but
yeah, cool, no, I don't drink. Honestly, I don't really drink that much anymore at all. I try but when I do, so because I really like the taste of a really bitter IPA.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys get Brewdog over there, but they're quite big over here.
Sounds familiar.
Beers, yeah, they're quite. They're quite. I don't know. I really don't know if they distribute. They do punk IPA. And they've got a chain of stores here. Well, a chain of pubs. You can buy them in the supermarket now. So they're kind of like the biggest craft sort of brew. But for normal lager, I kind of like Koziol. It's a Polish one. Koziol is nice. Czarne the Fortuna Brewery do really nice lagers. They do one called Czarne Fortuna, which is like a black lager, which I really like. I always drink it when we go to Poland.
I like the dark stuff, man. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, the Polish. What? Koziol isn't Polish? Where's that from then? I shall tell me now.
There's so many, man. I just go to when I go get my beers, I just go to that just like the either German or Polish or just the European ones. Those are the ones I like. If I'm going to buy something I want, I go there. But usually I'll do reviews for books and I'll try to sync them up somehow with what I'm doing a review of a book on. I'm not a critic, but I do review books I back, Let's see, let's check.
Vice beers are nice. Like Franziskaner, that I like too. And there's quite a few of those.
Do you like the Weihenstephaner or the Weihenstephaner? You've heard of that brewery before? I guess it's like the oldest brewery in the world, in Germany. Yeah, and they got like a bunch of ones. They have they have a beer called Vitus. It's pretty trendy over here. but it kind of died down the trend on it. But I was drinking it for a minute. They got tall can. It's a Heffen. It's a dark roasted Heffenweizen. So it's it's a wheat beer, but it's dark and it's so good, dude.
Yeah.
Like 7% or something like that. But
Ooh.
yeah. Are you a fan of those like those beers that are like the whiskey barrel like freaking 12% alcohol beers? Are you like a big fan of those?
No,
I'm not
they're
either,
not
man.
fans. They're not
At
fans
that
of
point,
me.
yeah, like for me at that point, I'm like, dude, why might as well just drink some whiskey or like drink a shot or you know what I'm talking? Like it's just I want a beer. Like give me a fucking beer. I'm not gonna spend $30 on a bottle of beer. You know what I mean? For one, and then two, it's like
it's like that trap. It's like mead. I don't know if you drink mead.
I still haven't had it. They have a mead house around in Long Beach somewhere I want to try out, but I still haven't had proper mead yet.
Yeah, God, no. Well, British mead is different. Like the European mead tends to be richer and stronger than the British stuff, which is a lot lighter. But the Eastern European meads, they taste great. They're quite strong, and the hangover is magnificent.
Oh wow, really?
It's a thing. It's a thing of awe. Like when you wake up, you're impressed. You're impressed with it. It's like, wow, you really went and done it this time. Yeah, no. It's
got hit by like a truck.
Yeah, it's not
That's
worth
cool,
it.
man.
I think it's something to do with the sweetness. It's got to do with the way
that honey.
Yeah, it messes you up quite badly.
It's a Dutch beer.
Yeah.
Meat is quite nice.
Yeah. No, it's good. No, I try not to drink that much anymore.
Yeah, I just drink on primarily on this stream, and then occasionally I might have a beer. But for the most part, it's just usually when I do a review or when I'm on this show, I like to have a beer when I'm chatting it up. Helps me loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, it's important. With YouTube, you gotta socialize a bit, and sometimes you just don't have that sort of inclination. That's the problem. I mean, you just get natural hosts, natural streamers. You seem, you're doing great. I mean, compared to me, I'm like nervous and jittery and stuff. When I try and host a stream, I'm not very interesting where it comes to coming up with topics and points of conversation. You got to have the knack for it, and I think being relaxed definitely helps.
It's just fun, dude. And then like I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just have a blast doing this. Luckily, I'm allowed to do it right now and get to have people like you on, and I get to pick your brain and learn stuff and get to meet the creators of the books I like. Like, I love Mary Boys, and now there's a catalog, and people can take these and, 100 years from now we could look back at them. And I'm one of the people that had a YouTube channel during that time. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we used to do the CG UK shows, but they kind of died down a bit.
Yeah, it just everything's kind of weird right now. Everything's just kind of weird right now, man. I've noticed it. It's just like on just different levels, like everything's kind of flattening out, even over here. And also the economy's pretty fucked up over here, so there's not a lot of people backing stuff out. But it's gonna change. It's not gonna be that way forever, So there's a lot of books I want that I haven't been able to back. So once once the economy starts picking up again, and things start flowing, the books are going to start selling again, and everything's going to be good. It's probably going to take a couple years, and that's fine. I'm not going anywhere. You might not see me that much sometimes.
I've slowed down on it because of the postage. It's just from the States.
Oh yeah,
that's the main.
It's like an equation, right? Like, how am I going to do this? I got to do, like, you're probably thinking of all these different formulas when it comes to the storytelling, the writing, the illustrating. You have your day job. You're having to deal with these fucking postage problems. It's all like equating all this stuff, You're like, I'm just trying to fucking create some books. And you have to do all this other stuff just because, you want to tell your story the way you're doing it, It's crazy.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I've been published by a small publisher before.
Okay.
And so I've got like a basis of comparison.
That's cool.
And it is so much better doing the crowdfunding thing. It's a pain posting stuff out. All the packaging and all that stuff. That's my least favorite part, and doing the postage and all that. But still, it is still so much better than doing the published thing, you know. And I have been sending Merry Boys to a bunch of small publishers, but I keep knocking my head against the same sort of stuff, the same sort of problems as I did before. And I've just come to the realization I'm not completely closed to working with somebody, but at the same time, it's like, just no, you know, I want to be free to do what I want, you know.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh yeah.
seems to be
Fuck yeah,
working.
man.
So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, totally. Like I want to, like, for me and Brian, I can't wait to work with Brian. We're working on this dude right here, Puritanian. I'm gonna work on my stuff. I'm gonna do like I was telling you before. I like to have a couple of books working on at one time instead of working on one thing at for like 10 years.
Yep.
So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do black and white now. That way I don't have to fucking pay $5,000 for a colorist to do proper coloring. And then I might hire a letterer, or I might do them, or just get like a proofer and then an editor, you know. So
Get it edit. I think all anybody really needs, you know, is the editor. I would say that's indispensable. Lettering can be learned. You know, it is definitely a thing that needs to be done properly, just not to stand out. But yeah, in black and white, I think anybody can do this. It's, you know, if you cover those bases and you give it the appropriate amount of respect. But an editor, you need all the other bells and whistles. I don't think they're necessary.
and not for the stories I want to tell. Like I want to do horror and just basically like everything with a horror kind of tilt on it, you know. So it kind of leans itself to that. So
to me, horror needs to be black and white.
mm-hmm.
Seriously, I mean, the old Warren magazines, they were perfect in black and white. And
yeah, and
growing up,
color, I'm like, ew. It's like gross, dude. That guy fucks them up. Like with the Bernie Swamp Thing, you know, bring rights and you slap
yeah,
it. Like, ugh, damn, you just fucked that shit up. Like they'll come in and paint over all of it.
When they're reprinting it, well, Bernie did his own colors in the first time around, you know, with the original ones, and he took into account that it would be on uncoated pulp stock, and it works because Bernie was Bernie Wright. Now they took the exact same color swatch, applied it with high quality glossy stock, and it looks terrible.
Yeah, totally, man.
Because now it's garish and it doesn't work, you know.
And there's a few colorists out there. Like for me, the coloring, like for I don't know, like for your work or something, I'd like to see you hand painting it, you know what I mean, or something like that, you know. But if it would had to go another route for your work, or just stuff that, like, let's say I would want just fucking flats with like a few layers of the inks. So you know how you have the multiple layers of inks, so you can just keep seeing that line work. I want that fucking line work to go over that, and it just flats, just the flats, you know, like old school, you know. But still, that's kind of like, you're taking away. Sometimes you're taking away the deep heaviness, the drama, the pull of that black, and some of it it's really like dominant, dude, in the story, and you can really feel the weight of the blacks when there's no color whatsoever in it, you know.
It's stark. It's a shock seeing black, white, and it's almost like a staccato pace. Look for your eyes.
And people say that it carries weight, and like it's like, no, it's like it almost physically like carries weight. Like it doesn't carry weight, but I mean it almost does. Like it's so stark and so heavy, you know. And then the eye just gets manipulated with any form of, even a flat, I think, too. But yeah, flat's the only other way I would do it. There's a very few art or colors. There's one out there, 656, Ali Edese. He does really good with colors, with keeping pencils and inks. He's one of my favorites. And then the other guy would be Mike. I think Mike Spitzer. He does he's doing Brian's new comic, so he could do it. So like there's a couple dudes out there, bro. Like
I love his stuff. I was thinking about his stuff specifically. He did with Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yep, Murder Falcon.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's what I'm talking. So me and you are kind of like thinking the same thing. You know what I mean? It has to be very specific coloring going at it. So, but if not, fuck it. You can do black and white, you know? So, which is equally as good, I think, you know? But sometimes I think you need color, like for the covers, just that way you establish the character. Like this dude's like, looks like this, or she looks like this. And so, all right, I gave you that. Now you could just take it in your mind and kind of figure out what the world looks like. But you know how they look in the world, you know, because sometimes like some characters, you might not ever know what color they were, you know? So I think that's good to kind of set that up visually in the head of the person, that the reader, you know. Personally, that's what I think for the cover or whatnot.
For each project, I like to do a few pinups and things, and I want to keep doing that. Like do like 3 different, color
Oh yeah.
drawings. Go with it.
Oh yeah.
I like that, but I couldn't do that for every panel of every. It would be
Oh
really
no,
deep.
no, I do the same thing. Like now, if I get bored, I try to pick like a Comicsgate book or an indie book, and I'll do some fucking fan art, and then I'll do a YouTube short, and I'll show my layouts to the pencils to the inks, and just for fun, and that helps me kind of break my head away from what I'm working on, and I come back like, ooh, that was good,
Yeah.
and then you get to pick some music. I usually pick a metal band I like that's free for like a minute, and you can tag it right on there because those YouTube shorts people are really watching them now. I get a lot of views on those for some reason. I don't know why. I don't. So I've been trying to do those sometimes. It's pretty fun.
I gave that a go for a while. Hello.
What up, J Dollar?
How you doing? I tried to do the drawing stream thing for a while, but yeah, I just didn't pick
Oh
up.
yeah, I can't do that personally. But maybe one day,
I'm too conscious of something, being watched. I don't know.
Well, for me, like what I do with those little like 1 minute things, I take pictures as I'm drawing it, and then I set them up in a whole thing. So you got just like 20 pictures, 10 or 20 pictures, and then it equals out. So I don't know. I think that's kind of fun. That's one way of doing it. And I don't have the camera set up and all that to do it. I would have to get a new camera and things like that. I've done a couple draw streams, but I'm usually here with like a big like board, and then this is what I got so far, guys.
So you work traditionally exclusively. So you're like
yeah,
like me.
100%.
Yeah,
Totally. I mean, I do the colors digitally, but now like if I do colors, I'm only going to do flats, and then I'll add lighting, and that's it. Even if I try to go very minimal, like if I'm doing a color, I'm going to do all like one flat layer, and then I'm like, all right, where's the sun at, or where's the moon? Do I want to add like reflective light on these cobblestones, or do I want to put more light over here? I'm like, it's too much light. Like just things like that. I want to keep it real basic. And that's I still don't even want to do it that much.
Well, what I want to do for the next one, I've been messing around with clips via Paint, and I was thinking of just doing the pencils digitally, because it looks like real. It just gives me more time to do adjustments and things like that. Print it out in non-repro blue, and then do traditional inks over that. I'm thinking of doing that. And I think
you ever think about doing your layouts like that too? That's what Graham Nolan does.
Oh, the layout. I think that's the thing. I think I would, because I mean these are my pacing layouts. So I'll scan these in and I'll just start drawing over them, and then I will choose. Yeah, I guess that'll be the next process. It'll just go straight into clip, and I'll draw it like that. Oh, we'll see.
That's what he does, and his art's dope too. I like Graham Nolan's art, and his Batman run with Chuck. Not just because they're like in our sphere or whatnot, but that fucking Nightfall run, that's my favorite Batman story.
Yeah, I was like, when they joined, I was like, damn it, I read these guys back in the day.
Yeah. So I love that shit, that 90s shit. That's my era. I love Death of Superman. A lot of people hate on that. I fucking loved it. That was when I was coming up, like I love that shit, dude. Yeah, I bought them all. I love the Forged Superman. I love all that. I love Doomsday. He was a big influence on me for Butch Cleaver in some ways. But yeah, man, like if digital is actually, like John Malin does all this stuff digital. A lot of people do things digital, and then you could print them out on the blue ink, like you're talking, like at an Epson Workforce or whatnot, and then ink it traditionally. Like that's cool too. That way you have some original art, and a lot of your art that like defines Chubb, Carl, Sven is in the inks, I think, right? So
yeah, I mean it's I just haven't found anything that would really emulate traditional inks, and the dry brush stuff that I do. I can't find anything like that. And also, I just enjoy it. I just enjoy working with ink. I like getting my hands dirty. So,
me too. I love watching the D-Dub show that Daniel Warren Johnson does on Friday.
Yes,
that guy's been a big influence on my work too. He's made, like, watching him. That guy actually made me more fearless. Like what he does with his whiteout. Now I'm like, I'm all over the place with that shit. I'm trying to find more whiteout pens. Joe Ball's another. That guy has inspired me a lot too. He's influenced me a lot. But just doing that, I'm just like, dude, I'm gonna just do black and white. There's so much, like, I haven't even tapped the surface. I don't even know how to do it yet. Like, and there's so much more to learn too. Sean Gordon Murphy, he's another cat that does some cool stuff with black and white.
He did. He did an article because I was doing digital at some point, and he did an article a while back when he was working on Hellblazer, crapping everybody out who wasn't inking traditionally, saying you're scared, you're just afraid, you're afraid of the brush, you're not a man, And I was like,
that's fucked up.
And I just switched right there, not because I felt affronted.
Yeah,
but I thought to myself, well, if all my favorite artists have been doing it this way, and I like how it looks, why wouldn't I do it like this? It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm just going to be making my books and hopefully getting good as I age. You know what I mean? And hopefully I get decent and learn all the tricks. I want to do traditional, and I think black and white for me, But damn, dude, the stuff you're doing, man, it's awesome.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I mean,
there's so many like tricks to do with the black and white too, like the Zipatone, and I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but just like so many different things that you could do that like a lot of people aren't even doing. Another thing that someone said, like it's hard to do, traditional, like you saying that Sean Gordon Murphy is saying that's where the separate the men from the boys or whatnot, but other people were saying too, like doing covers is a lot different than doing the interiors.
Of course. Yes,
that's where you really figure out.
It's like, no, that's a totally different ball game.
Different genre almost. I mean, genre is not the proper word, but it's a different job description altogether, a different industry in some ways. Yeah,
it's language. Also, do you find that? Well, I'm like this. I don't like covers that don't tell a story. A cover shouldn't just be a bunch of heroes going. There should be a narrative there. There should be it should be a scene from a whole story. It shouldn't just be Wolverine gurning and jumping from this way. There should be and that's the difference between us and other sort of artists. I consider myself to be a cartoonist. More than anything else. It's got to have that narrative. It isn't enough just because a lot of people can draw. Very few people can draw and convey a story at the same time. I think that's where we are.
For me at the moment, like with the ones, if I'm doing like a poster, I'm kind of got this like kind of like urge in me to just see like some carnage, like this shit just getting fucked up. So I usually I'll have one character doing a lot of things violently. You know what I mean? That's just what I'm in now. Once I shit all that out of me, probably in like 10 years, I'll probably be doing something else, But it's like one guy taking on the world or something. He's doing a lot of things, or one lady or something. Like that's just kind of where I'm at right now, And I know your stories too, with your covers, there's usually a lot of things going on that you're saying artistically in that one image, That's awesome.
It's a matter of fun. It's a matter of like once you just have to be happy. Like once it's done, that you're going to be like, I did a good job on that. I did everything that I could possibly want to do on that. That's the main thing.
Have you ever heard of there was a book called Mosaic by you ever heard of Kyle Hotz?
Yes.
He does a lot of covers now. Oh, hold on one second. Yes. Let me show you something.
Show me. I haven't heard of the name.
1 second. Let me show you something. Give me about 30 seconds.
He's abandoned me on his own stream. My son's here. He needs to go to bed.
All right. So this is Kyle Hotz. This came out like in the 90s. And it was an underground book, but it's all black and white, dude. It's pretty awesome. Let me see here. It's like Blade Runner meets The Crow.
How do you spell his surname? Is it like Outlaw Comics, as they call it on Cartoonist Kayfabe?
Yeah, kind of. It's Hotz. He's primarily a cover artist right now, but
right.
But it's all black and white. Really cool stuff. Kind of like Kelly Jonesian, Bernie Wrightson. Okay. But I got this for like $10 on Amazon. But it's just really cool. Really cool stuff. I want to do a review on it later. But this is a big, just all the different tone work he's doing and different for black and whites, you know. Cool character. Let me show you something you'll like. There's that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Mosaic. Cool.
Mosaic,
I'll
yeah.
look into that.
Blade Runner meets the Crow. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Love chatting with you. We should do it again.
Yeah, that was great.
And yeah, man. Is there any place that like people can find you right now?
I'm on Twitter, and there's a Merry Boys Facebook page that Monica posts on a lot and just does updates. And I've got a blog that I've revived. It's just merryboys.blogspot. I should get a proper domain for that. But I've been getting into blogging and stuff because I just haven't been streaming, and I was thinking I need some sort of latch point. Just talking about process and keeping people updated. But yeah, I'm horrible at marketing. So I'm absolutely terrible.
No, that's cool, man. Just shoot me the link for that, and I'll put it in. I'll go back and put it into the description. That way people can find it. And if you guys want to back this, buy the book. The link for the eBay store is in the top at the description. So sweet, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, Carl. And hopefully we do it again sometime. And yeah, thanks.
Excellent. Thanks for having me on, Matt.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Right. Cheers, chat.
See you guys. You guys have a great day. Always remember to be bold, be brave, and roll the bones to know your role. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.